Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we want to give you at Commodity TV an update, with Endeavour Silver and of course with the co-founder and CEO Bradford Cooke. Brad, good morning to Vancouver. How are you?
I'm very good. Hi, Ilka.
Super, perfect. Good to see you, healthy, in good shape. That's how we want it in those crazy times, right?
Absolutely.
Super. Yeah, Endeavour Silver. I mean, we know your company extremely well, and we were talking a lot of times at Commodity TV. But I think you overcame your problems definitely fantastically, and you had quite a good year last year. And also your guidance for 2021 looks fantastic, despite you do not have the final yet, which we will have, like, I think on 1st March, which is great. And 2nd March, we want to do a virtual roadshow together. So can you give us some ideas, production guidance 2021? How does it look like?
Yes, for this year, our production we're forecasting to be slightly higher than last year. If you recall, last year we guided 6 to 7 million ounces of silver equivalents, gold being the only equivalent. And this year we're guiding about 100,000 ounces higher than that, so 6.1 to 7.1. Our cost guidance this year is a little bit higher, but that's mainly because of higher taxes. That's one of the downsides of higher metal prices. And also we have a sliding scale royalty on our Guanacevi mine, which is our largest mine. And so our royalty payments will be higher this year as well. In fact, there's probably a $4 per ounce in increased taxes and royalties in 2021. That's part of the all sustaining cost.
Yeah, okay. So when you say a sliding or moving royalty and taxes, would that be like, let's assume silver goes to $40? Would that kill the profit, or would it be then a little bit more on the easy side?
No, the sliding scale stops at $25.
Aha. Okay, good, perfect. So this is then like the last up move from that side in your cost scene. Okay, so $19 to $20 is the AISC for next year. That means there's still that you have a nice profit margin, I would say. Also interesting was for me to see your last quarter production was the highest in 2 years. How did that come then?
Well, we had a very good year last year, notwithstanding the COVID pandemic. And the reason is very simple. You know, after 2 to 3 years, very tough years in operations, 2017, 18, 19, we launched turnarounds at Guanacevi and Bolanitos in 2019. And very simply, we completed those turnarounds last year, and the results could be seen in the 4th quarter.
Okay, super, fantastic. We look forward to know then the numbers in detail, definitely. Also, I think a real highlight of last year was the full turnaround, as you said it already, with Guanacevi and Bolanitos. So you've done very well there, which was like the sorrow child, as we say in German, a little bit for the last years. But what is also going on with Compas? I mean, that's the smallest mine you have, but what's going on there?
Well, I like to say that Compas is our boring mine because it's steady state. There's no drama. It just keeps chugging along. It's generating free cash flow. I think the biggest change last year was that through our exploration on the Calicanto property adjacent to the Compas plant, we found some new resources in 2 veins, and we're currently evaluating how to get those resources into the mine plans. So Compas is really just extending the mine life. Extending the mine life is the main focus at this time.
But making money.
And making money.
That's important, I would say. Super. As we are talking already about exploration, I saw that you have quite a nice exploration budget in your numbers you have published, and I really appreciate it because this is the future. And also you brought out proven and probable reserves are up 11%. And if I do my calculation, let's say a little bit on the conservative side, with those silver and gold numbers, you have easily a mine life of 8 years, I would say, right?
Well, certainly having grown the proven and probable reserves substantially, we're in a much better position now for mine life than we've been in for years. Excuse me. And as you saw from our announcement, the reserves were up 11%. We also added to our inferred resources, so there was some success in growing the resource base as well.
Fantastic. So what would that mean, let's say, with your exploration budget? Where do you focus? And also, do you think that you would have, like with the Cursor property, for example, some new discoveries, some stuff you could then in the future figure into the mine plan, which is not yet seen, right?
So at Guanacevi, the El Curso ore body is still wide open in two directions, and we'll give it a big push in drilling this year to see what the limits of those resources are. So we expect higher resources from Guanacevi this year. Similar to Bolanitos, we're focused more on reserve replacement at Bolanitos. And because of the Mayadito discovery and now developing Belen vein this year, I think you'll see that it'll be another good year of replacing reserves and extending mine life at Bolanitos. But the two big pushes this year on exploration are the two programs we didn't do last year. You know, we suspended our drilling at Parral and Terronera for most of 2020 because we were focused on the economic studies at Parral, and of course we were finishing our turnarounds of the three operations. But now that's all done, we've returned our focus to large drilling programs at both Terronera and Parral this year and going forward. So we have great expectations for new discoveries and new resources at both projects.
Fantastic. So you named it already, Terronera. I think is to me, it looks a bit like that this is the key property for the future, for the short-term future of Endeavour Silver. First of all, production-wise, but secondly, also cost-wise, because it would, once in production, it would significantly bring down the, let's say, overall group costs, right? So what's the status there? I remember that you wanted to do a $60 million ATM financing, and let's say probably with the good year you had already 2020, I could imagine that you have put a lot of cash aside for Terronera for the development. We will see that, I know, on 1st March, but I can also do some mathematics here, and I would be astonished if not. And so for me, I would say everything is in a perfect way, in a perfect shape to really go full throttle with Terronera to get it built, right?
So you're absolutely right. We did add a lot of cash to Treasury last year, but we didn't touch that $60 million ATM. It's still there. All of the cash came from operations, from profits. And just to review, I believe at the end of 2019, we had something like 20 million cash, plus or minus. And at the end of September, that was 45 million cash. We had our best quarter in 2 years, so do the math.
Okay.
Yes, we've been adding cash to Treasury, and we will do a TED financing for Terronera. That's my second quarter focus. But we're in great shape financially with no long-term debt.
Absolutely. No, that is fantastic. I love that because it's non-dilutive. That's important for shareholders, as we are all shareholders of your company. What would be then, let's say, the focus for Terronera this year, the time plan for Terronera? Because honestly, I cannot wait to see this mine to go in production.
So I can give you a little more organic, deeper dive on what's going on. If you recall, last year we hired a director of project development, and he actually hired a project manager, and he hired a community manager and a procurement manager and engineering manager. So we've been building out our project development team. We completed last summer the final pre-feasibility study, if you recall, and at current prices, the net present value of that project is $350 million after tax.
Wow.
And the internal rate of return was up around 65% on the $100 million of capital investment estimated in that study. However, what was special about the study was the costs. If you recall, there's about a 60-40 silver gold split of revenues, and we report silver production net of the gold credit. And in the case of Terronera, the gold pays for everything and the cash costs are free. Cash costs are zero. Silver's free. Even on an all-in sustaining cost basis, including life of mine operating costs, capital investments, exploration expenditures, taxes, royalties, general and administrative costs, even after all of that, that last year's study estimated all-in sustaining costs at $2.10 per ounce of silver produced. So that's what's special about Terronera. It's a game changer. When we bring it on, it will come on at almost doubling our production. It'll add 6 million ounces of silver equivalent production per year for a minimum of 2 years. And at the costs forecasted, it'll on a consolidated basis more than half.
It should be $10 around then, right?
So
if I do the calculation.
Very significant impact. Now, talking about this year, we already set aside $9 million as a capital budget in the first half of 2021, primarily for ordering of long lead equipment, down payments on long lead equipment. In fact, we've already purchased and have now in a warehouse in Puerto Vallarta the big ball mill for the plant. And more of that is coming here in the first half of the year. We are planning to have the feasibility study midsummer, so July, and we're on track with that study so that we can go to the board in August for a development decision. And assuming that it's a positive decision, then we would be in a position to break ground in September. We have all the major construction permits, and while we haven't published a second half budget, it would be $30 million, something like that, just breaking ground, clearing the plant site, collaring the decline to the mine, getting the construction camp built. We'll have a temporary camp to get started using contractors. But ultimately, we need something like a 400 to 500 man camp that would be trailers. And we've identified the sites. So it's just a question of spending the next few months getting organized. So a lot going on in Terronera.
That's
and then
fantastic.
It's an 18-month construction schedule, 6 months commissioning. So 2 years from the time we break ground.
Yeah, so 2023, you would be in production.
Correct.
Love to hear that. That's fantastic. Super. Thank you. Fantastic thing. And what else do I want to know here on my list? Yeah, that looks good. You answered almost everything. One thing. Why have you granted the option to Ridgestone mining of the Guadalupe Galvo project? Was that too small for you, or was it not necessary? Or
yeah, we took the view that it's a non-core asset. We did spend a couple $1 million there doing exploration for Endeavour-sized discoveries. We didn't find an Endeavour-sized discovery. We have a Ridgestone-sized discovery. So our rationale was, if it's not big enough for us, let's sell it. We keep the cash, the stock, the royalty. It's accretive. Yeah,
perfect. So you must not spend money, but you earn money from time to time, and if they're bringing it in production, you have an NSR.
Correct. Yeah, it's a small deal for us, but
but it helps.
Why let it sit there? We felt that it should move ahead with a small company.
Absolutely. No, I mean, when you can monetize something, this makes always sense, because when you can monetize externally, you must not raise any money nor do any debt, and you need the money for Terronera, that's for sure.
Every penny helps.
Super. Perfect. Yeah, Bradford, thank you very much. It was a great update. And as said, we do on the 2nd March then, which is already in 3 weeks. We do the virtual roadshow with your numbers, and I really look forward to that, because I have a very good feeling that your treasury would be lovely.
We look forward to talking to you then.
Yeah, me too. Thank you very much, Brad. All the best. Have a great weekend.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Bradford Cooke, the CEO and co-founder of Endeavour Silver, one of the largest silver producers in the world. And you heard it, the company is doing extremely well. The 4th quarter was fantastic, outstanding, the best quarter in 2 years. And what I like to hear is, of course, first of all, the progress on Terronera. That's exactly what that company needs, because it will double the production and half the costs in the group. This is outstanding, because money, and margins is key for success in the future. Also, the exploration is moving extremely well. Nice budgets for this year. And I would say the company is well set up to benefit a lot from the upcoming rising silver price, because we are very close to really good fun in the silver markets. That is also for sure. So I would suggest you check out the company very close, and wish you also a very good weekend. Thank you very much for watching us, and bye-bye from Switzerland.